So there's a lot of companies trying to address this challenge of rising nutrient levels, rising contaminants in the water infrastructure, and problems with the water infrastructure. What's LuminUltra's approach to tackling the problem?
Well, first of all, LuminUltra's approach is very targeted in that we're only looking at the microbiological part of the equation, which is something that people have traditionally overlooked within our sector. We've spent a lot of money and time investing in physical and chemical sensors over the past century, but the microbiological tools that are used are still the same as they were designed in 1850 when they first were launched to market. So we are taking the approach of basically arming water operators that go around and manage our water infrastructure on a day-to-day basis with the capability of having a field-based laboratory-grade test that can go into the field and help them solve problems.
So when you say arming a technician with a device, how does that device actually work?
It's a very small test kit. It's about the size of a briefcase that they take into the field. They open it up wherever the sample tap happens to be. They take the sample, run a test right in the field that takes about 3 minutes. It's basically sampled into reagent A plus reagent B, and then they put that into a machine, which gives them a result. And based on a cloud application that we put into their hands as well, they're able to tell whether the number is good, bad, or somewhere in between, along with the appropriate action they need to take.
What would be a typical appropriate action if a contaminant or nutrient level is detected to be at an alarming level?
There's really only two actions that anyone has available to them. Flushing is one thing, so that's when you basically just turn the tap on or open up a fire hydrant and drain the water out of the system to basically take those contaminants out. Or you might increase the level of disinfection that's used in the water to kill the bacteria that are swimming around in that water, and then you would flush after that. So those are really the two only actions that we have available.
And what would be the frequency then of an occurrence that necessitates an action like that?
Happens every day. It happens every day. Most of the time, we don't even know that it actually has happened.
As consumers?
As consumers, absolutely. As consumers, we know it happens when sometimes if we open up the tap on our water, in our kitchen, our bathroom, what have you, and we see foul colors to the water or a foul odor, and our reaction will be to call the municipality and say, what did you do to my water? A lot of our municipal customers will use our test kit to determine whether the problem is something they caused or if it's something inside of the consumer's house. And actually 9 times out of 10 it's due to hot water systems that are accumulating microbiology that the consumer didn't even know was a problem.
When you think about microbiology being a source of all kinds of challenges like this, is there some way to use technology to eradicate it in the water infrastructure, or is there just too much input of new sources of it?
The reality is there's no such thing as eradication. If you look at the number of bacteria that there are on planet Earth,
right.
It's 10 to the 30. There's 10 to the 10 humans, which means we're outnumbered 10 to the 20 to 1. Yeah, it's not a battle we're going to win. So the best thing that we can do is control. And first things first when it comes to control is actually being aware of whether or not you have a challenge that needs to be attacked. So the old adage goes, if you don't measure it, you can't control it. Microbiology today is primarily managed on monthly testing. We typically only test a very, very small fraction, actually 10 to the negative 10 of the water that flows through a water distribution system.
Which is essentially nothing. I mean, that's infinitesimally small.
Correct.
Amount, so
right.
It doesn't really achieve anything, that kind of test.
Right, so it's very hard to be proactive when you're only testing once per month. With our technology, it's very easy for people to test on a daily frequency and bring the test to where they need it to be done.
The testing solution you've created, that's the device that's doing the testing, you've got a lot of intellectual property you've created around that, and I'm sure trade secrets as well.
Right.
What do you think is the key core IP that you've created?
Unequivocally, the knowledge. So over the past 15 years, LuminUltra has, through working with its partners and its customers, has accrued a tremendous amount of knowledge in a variety of different markets, from drinking water to oil and gas, industrial applications, things like that, where we know what you might need to do if you have a certain number under a certain circumstance. So we can actually educate people on the fly without them having to have a microbiology degree. So it's essentially like a microbiologist in a box.
And the technician doesn't require a huge amount of training to use this laboratory in a box?
Yeah, within about an hour, taking a few basic courses that we put on our self-teaching platform called LuminUltra Academy, the operator can understand very quickly how to use the test kit, how to interpret the results, and how to take action.